last couple updates, Mojang has been consistently adding a certain type of content. Mobs blocks items that are extremely niche in use or sometimes outright decorational. You know what I mean. Foxes, axolotls, echo shards, glow squid, amethyst, goats, the list goes on. So I dove deep into the changelogs to find out when this practice started, how it has evolved over the years, and what it means for the future of the game. Now, you might be surprised to learn that this isn't a new design philosophy. In fact, Mojang has been doing this as early as 1.0, and these dumbed-down features were cauldrons and villagers. That's right, these bad boys were completely useless when they were first added. They couldn't trade, had no sound effects, and I quote, had the same AI as pigs. Now, obviously, all of that changed later on, and I'll get back to that in a minute. However, not all old features have a use now. For example, the bat remains unchanged since when it was first added in 1.4. And I can't say it is or ever was useful. However, players only started complaining about these lackluster features in the last couple of years, and I think I know why. First of all, since Minecraft is now a bestseller owned by a multi-billion-dollar corporation, standards have risen significantly higher. Adding little Easter eggs and calling them features just won't cut it anymore. Also, the way the development process works changed drastically, moving away from smaller clumps released more frequently and spontaneously, such as Secret Fridays, and favoring big updates released once or twice a year. Therefore, people want 10 out of 10 content in these less frequent editions. So it's understandable when 2023 players want complex features that interact with the already established game, but think about it from a corporate perspective. Say you have two options. A, add one very well thought out item or mob with cool mechanics, or B, add three new things that are almost entirely cosmetic. People who haven't yet bought the game and know very little about Minecraft will think that option B is more interesting. Casual enjoyers probably won't really care and just be happy that the game is still getting up. Now, the hardcore fanbase will probably be grumpy, but they aren't as big of a portion of the community as you may think, and they aren't likely to quit playing their favorite game just because an update wasn't as good as they hoped. Also, since Minecraft is mostly a one-time purchase, you can't really vote with your money. Since they've already made most of the profit they'll ever get from you, leaving as a sign of protest will hardly change anything, at least financially. And even if you're on Big Salmon Edition, the marketplace ecosystem is mostly maintained by little Timmies, and they can't give up their dream skin pet just because Mojang did a poo-poo. So this is where we are now, with a lot of unsatisfied people. So how can we fix this? I asked you guys on Twitter, and I think professional game designer YouWholesome58 puts it quite well. Just give them the ability to explode at any random game tick, even in the inventory. Mojang, please hire this guy. Also, follow me on Twitter at TrulyBlueFlame. Now, as I mentioned at the start, these features aren't set in stone. Past items and mobs that honestly kinda sucked when they were first added are fan favorites now. So perhaps Mojang could do a Making Ends Meet update to make sure that all of the features feel as part of the same world, instead of just stickers slapped on once a year to be forgotten soon after. I think the bare minimum for mobs should be something akin to skeletons and strays. Sure, this one is basically just a reskin, but it has something that sets it apart, in this case being slowness arrows. Same thing for round. These guys drop copper, which, let's be fair, nobody cares about, but I'd be lying if I said Trident Swarm's cool AF, and I do think the bar is close to the floor, especially with skeleton variants, but husks and glow squid would be greatly improved by even a minor change. As for the miscellaneous items, give them new crafting recipes or alter old ones. Amethyst has like what, 2? Echo shards have 1, and they aren't even that interesting items. So is it any wonder that players don't really care about them once the ooh new shiny thing factor wears off? One of the best suggestions I've seen was using copper for powered rails instead of gold, or mixing redstone with it to make wires, which would transmit a regular redstone signal but can be placed on ceilings or walls. What do you think of these, and what are your ideas? Tell me in the comments. So those are just some community suggestions, but how are things looking for the next update, 1.20? It's a mixed bag. On the one hand, so far I really like the camel. For me, it ticks all the boxes. It has a new jump mechanic, something that really sets it apart from existing animals, but also has its weaknesses. It's slower than horses and can't have storage like donkeys or mules, so they aren't completely overshadowed. On the other hand, I have my doubts about the sniffer. Mojang has confirmed that the new plants discovered by it will be decor only. But hey, at least they're being upfront about it, I guess? I mean, sure, there is a possibility to repurpose them in some future updates, and there might be really cool mods for them. But as a vanilla 1.20 feature, they will only be sought after by players who want a fantasy capybara and builders, which will probably just use creative mode. Which isn't terrible, but it could be so much more. Or hey, maybe I'm just pessimistic and they'll make the sniffer interesting in some other way. Who knows? Only time will tell. So thank you for watching and consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. Also, YouTube thinks that you might want to watch this next, so maybe go check it out? Goodbye. Thank you.